the next 7 weeks at Heights Church, we're going to be talking about faith, hope, and love. And these are three of the most important virtues for a Christian to have. And in fact, to get us thinking about these virtues a little bit, I'm going to tell you a brief story. There was a boy who was fishing by the side of a lake one day. He'd been fishing there since early morning, and he had caught nothing. But then one of his friends comes along, and his friend tells him, well, wait a second, you're reeling your rod in every time, and you're not leaving it out there long enough to catch anything. And so the boy leaves his line out in the water for a little bit longer, and then he leaves it out there a little bit longer, and sure enough, he starts to catch a few fish. And they are small fish, and fish that are not worth keeping, but at least he's catching something. And he does that for several more hours. And then the boy's brother comes along, his older brother, and says, if you want to catch a big fish, you need to use a different kind of bait. And so the boy uses a different kind of bait. And this time, he catches a fish that he can eat. He catches a fish that's big enough to keep, a fish that is useful to him. It's a good fish. But he fishes for several more hours, and that's the only fish that he has caught. It's enough, but for a person who really likes to go fishing, you want to catch more than just fish, don't you? So he fishes for several more hours and catches nothing. And then just before the evening sets in, the boy's father comes in. And the boy's father says, why don't you come fishing with me? And so the father takes his son out on the boat, out into deeper water, and begins to tell him all that he knows about fishing. And then they fish together at the best time of the day, in the best part of the lake, and they catch a lot of fish. And now the boy knows how to fish. And so when he goes back, he knows what to do because his father taught him. This is a story about the ways in which faith, hope, and love can work in our lives. The thing about faith, hope, and love is that a person can only have these things if God gives them to him or her. Now, a person can live a good life in a way without these things if a person seeks wisdom and justice and has some self-control and is a courageous person. They can live a good life to a certain extent, but only with God in our lives. A life where we have these additional virtues of faith, hope, and love. Can we have a more abundant kind of life, an abundant kind of happiness in our life, where we're not dependent upon the circumstances happening to us for happiness. It's a deeper kind of joy with faith, hope, and love. And this is what we'll be thinking about together at Heights Church for the next 7 weeks. I hope you'll join us.